Thank you, Chief. So I represent Florida's 15th congressional district, which includes the city of Tampa. And the city of Tampa is one of the places that the Capitol Police have established field offices around the country. And I've received some questions from the community about the field office and what it does. And I think it would be very constructive if you take a moment, tell us about those field offices, why were they established, and what kind of work are they doing out in our communities?
So we get thousands of threats against members of Congress every year. And our original model was all of my investigators are in DC and they're just traveling all over the country. So we looked at where do we get most of the complaints, and we've got a field office in San Francisco, we've got a field office in Tampa, and we'd like to establish field offices in a couple other cities around the country so that we can more efficiently go to certain areas to investigate those complaints. There are two Capitol Police officers at that, and there's one attorney at that field office. And it helps us in terms of prosecuting criminal cases, because they investigate criminal cases for threats against Congress. And so it's much more efficient to have folks posted around the country because our responsibilities are nationwide in terms of those investigative responsibilities.
And so, to be clear, the type of cases that they're investigating is active threats against members of Congress?
Criminal investigations.
Okay. And are there other types of criminal investigations that they're commonly seeing or they're bringing back up to you here in D.C.?
We only have primary responsibility for investigating cases where a member of Congress is a victim or it involves a threat against a member of Congress.
Okay, so they're not out there in Tampa investigating a broad array of criminal cases or things involving citizens of the community. It is specifically focused on your security, Capitol security, protecting members of Congress mission.
That is correct.
All right, thank you. And has it been fruitful for you? Has it been a helpful thing to establish those field offices?
I believe it has been, and I think that it will continue to even be even more fruitful when we can look at places like Chicago or some place in the Northeast, where we can, because when we look at where these complaints originate, there are more in certain areas of the country, and that's why we've got one in California, one in Florida, and we want to continue to post people where they're most needed. And it will make things much more efficient for us.
All right. And one of the department's improvements that you have commended today was the distribution of iPhones to the workforce to ensure that there's immediate and prompt information dissemination when it's important to get that out there to your team. Can you provide examples for us or elaboration on how this simple improvement has made your process more effective?
So we do daily intel briefings at the department. And all of the information, all the intelligence information, lookouts, any information about suspicious events or anything that occurs around on this campus is disseminated to every single officer on their iPhone. And I will tell you that we will often have a photo of someone who made a particular threat at a members of Congress's office. So we got a cell phone photo of that person. And we say, we're looking for this person because they've either committed a violation or we want to maybe give them a trespass notice that they're not allowed back to that office. When we disseminate that photo, it is unusual if we don't find that person in short order, because every officer has that photo, and it's been a very, very effective way to allow us to get our job done much more efficiently, with officers having that information literally at their fingertips every day.
And you also mentioned the establishment of the Wellness Center as a resource for your officers. Can you speak in more detail about the programs that are available at the Wellness Center and how they're being utilized?
Yes, and I think that it's still a work in progress. I mean, it's still relatively new, and we are still hiring people, counselors, and people that have expertise, whether it's someone who wants to get in better shape, lose weight, become more fit, someone who's having financial difficulties, someone who wants to improve their nutrition. All of these are services that we provide to our officers so that we can build their wellness, build their resilience, And then the trauma-informed counselors are really, I think, the key. You know, we have comfort dogs there that we use, and what we did is looked at the best wellness centers that public safety has stood up around the country, and we tried to not reinvent the wheel, but to see what those agencies are doing and just replicate that.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.